Good morning to everybody. It's been a while. I've been traveling, and after traveling to Israel to see my family there, my parents actually came to visit me. They needed a break from the emotional strain of isolation, of the ongoing instructions from the government in Israel regarding quarantine. And they were here for a month. My daughter came, my sister came. So really, there was very little additional space for broadcasting meditations. I admit I felt guilty about this, and perhaps this feeling of guilt is a segue into today's meditation. So, how can you feel guilt on one hand and then still know that you're doing the right thing? How can you feel grief for someone you love that you lost and still find joy in a beautiful sunrise? When we look at the divisiveness in the country, at the conflict, at the contrariness, at the real difficult, challenging time all around us, pulled in different ways because of our political views, pulled in different ways because our views about the coronavirus and vaccination, pulled in different ways constantly. And while this is external, or we can take a look at it from perhaps with a more objective look, when it comes to our internal space, emotions and beliefs kind of congregate and very often cloud our way of thinking. I have been thinking a lot about this issue of holding it all, finding a place for everything. I'm sure you know the famous Rumi poem, The Guest House. And every time I read it and come back to it, it highlights this point of holding everything. And Rumi writes, this being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your home empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them all at the door, laughing, invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from the beyond. I'm not sure about guidance from the beyond, and I don't think it really matters. But I want us to sit together with this idea of holding what may seem to be opposites. And you can see it in so many ways. You can see a family member that you appreciate and love dearly, and yet they have voted to the candidate that you think is a terrible choice. How do you hold your disappointment, your anger, with your love and appreciation for them? You can see it reflected in so many ways. I had a conversation with a dear friend of mine who lost her son to an illness, and she was sharing with me that she is often told, "Oh, don't focus on on the grief, on the loss. Focus on your gratitude practice, on the things that are going well for you. Be grateful for whatever it may be, your health, your other children, your husband, your practice. But why does it have to be a choice between this or that? Can't you honor the grief and the loss that you've experienced, the sorrow that is so deep in your heart, and still be grateful for the sun that is shining, for your own health, for a multitude of things that go well in your life? Why does there need to be a dichotomy? And I don't think there needs to be a dichotomy. I think we can hold it all if we open our hearts and manage to create a spaciousness that allows for it to be there. And that doesn't mean that you necessarily invite, like Rumi says, and many spiritual teachers say, invite difficulty. I'm not one for inviting challenges, but upset enough I am about the fact that they present themselves again and again and again. So how do we stay with that? This is today's meditation. So I invite you to find yourself a comfortable position and then gently close your eyes. I'm going to find my digital bell, and then as I ring the bell, see it as a further invitation for relaxation. Bringing your attention to your body, and wherever the attention goes, relaxation follows. Notice as the attention rests in the feet, muscles relax, tendons loosen. A softness takes place at the sole's level, at the top of the foot level. And simply let relaxation glide upwards in your body, releasing the ankles, the lower legs, inviting the knees, the back of the knees, a softening, a loosening, the upper legs, the back of the thighs, perhaps comfortably supported by the surface on which you're sitting or lying down. As relaxation engulfs the pelvis area, sinking into the surface, releasing and softening. Now the abdomen, the lower back, relaxing. The chest, the upper back. Each in-breath brings in even more relaxation. Each out-breath sends relaxation throughout your body and your mind. Notice the shoulders release, relax, all the way down the arms to the fingertips. Throat and neck opening and softening. face muscles releasing even more, inviting perhaps a softening of the lips and opening, gentle, as the breath moves in and out of the body, more comfortable. Relaxation allows the mind a process of reflection and meditation. I invite you now to an exploration and inquiry. What are opposites in your life that create internal divisiveness? Where do you see a strain, a difficulty? Perhaps in your relationship to other people, someone that you love and appreciate and yet are causing you anger and frustration. Can you hold both? Perhaps it's entirely different, a personal process, something between you and yourself, a responsibility that you feel guilty not upholding, and yet you know it is simply too much for you at this time. Can you hold both? Perhaps there is tension in different ways for you. And as I go quiet, invite this information to come flowing in. Where do you see an internal pull between what may seem to be opposites? Often I think we can notice it in values that we hold. Your view of yourself, perhaps as a kind and compassionate human being, and then an act that you have taken that is not aligned with that. Can you hold both? Knowing all of these are parts of you. Take your time. Explore what is coming for you. What is the pull and tension that is creating a suffering in your life? Sometimes the clues reside in our emotions. If you look at what creates disharmony within you, situations that you find yourself uncomfortable emotionally, being hurt or hurting others by your actions, by your words, hurting yourself with the thought processes that are going on in your own mind. Can you hold all of this, knowing this is all part of this human experience? Perhaps the answer for this one and so many other causes of suffering, perhaps the cure is love. Perhaps you see that in your life you can hold together love and difficulty and frustration and anger and disappointment when it comes to certain people. For some it could be their children, for others their partner or a good friend. And what you're willing to hold space for with them is different than how you treat yourself and others. Can you hold the space of love for everyone? Whether you have been hurt by them or not, can you hold the truth that they are multifaceted, just as you are? Perhaps you even have done yourself things like they have done, maybe not exactly or on the same scale. Can you hold that space of knowing also for yourself you are human? It does not mean that you accept behavior that is hurtful or harmful. It is just a holding that takes place in your mind, seeing the multi-layers of yourself and others, seeing that the kindest, most compassionate person can still be hurtful and harmful to some. Can you hold together within you, within your heart, the opposites, holding emotions that seem to be contradictory, hurt and love, grief and joy? As you explore this, as I grow quiet, notice as you expand this capability that you already have, how does it feel in your heart? How does it feel in your mind? creating a space for it all. Everything is welcome. There is freedom in not having to choose one or the other. And instead of this or that, it becomes this and that. While it's not always easy, especially when we hurt, it creates a possibility of bridging our internal differences and our external differences in a way that allows us living with less suffering in the world. As your body remains relaxed and comfortable, listen with me again to the words of Rumi, the guest house. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your home empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may not be clearing you out. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door. Laughing, invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from the beyond. I offer to you that the guide is already here within you. That when you are taking a time for reflection, for meditation, you're invoking this guide, this wisdom that is already there. Listen with your heart, your mind open. What is the message? What is coming? And see what comes for you. Take a moment. Can we hold together sorrow and joy, love and anger, hurt and forgiveness, Can we open our hearts with great love for ourselves first, inviting it all in, recognizing that being on this journey of being a human being provides us ample opportunities for suffering and for joy. Is it possible to create space for all of it, where everything is welcome? There's so many examples that come to mind. And I think this year, 2020, that has just ended, provided every one of us ample opportunities to practice. Can we hold together fear and courage? As we move forward into 2021, that still looks pretty much like 2020 in so many ways. Can we hold together hope and disappointment? When we rest in discomfort and explore, so much wisdom can rise within us, providing us great guidance, great support for what is coming next in our lives. Creating a space for it all. Everything is welcome. Opening our hearts with love to forces that perhaps seem opposing, and yet they're simply the tapestry of our emotions, our beliefs, our thoughts. Take a nice deep breath in and out. In just a moment, the bell will ring, indicating the completion of today's practice. Wishing you a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day. As we conclude today's meditation. From my heart to your heart, creating a space for it all. Everything is welcome.